9. Debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
And joining us on debate number 1 on whether it's time to freeze ties with Pakistan, whether it's time to completely call off talks because Pakistan is not in a position to ensure any crackdown on terror. I'm joined by Dr. Sambit Patra, national spokesperson of the BJP. Joining me live from Delhi, joining me live from Mumbai is Ratan Sharda, author. Also joining me live from Delhi is Arvind Sawant, Member of Parliament of the Lok Sabha and spokesperson of the Shiv Sena. Lalit Ambardar, Kashmiri activist, joining us in the Delhi studios here. Also with us this evening is Shabnam Lone, advocate of the Supreme Court, joining us live from Srinagar. Nawed Hamid, president of the All India Muslim Majlis-e-Mushawarat, joining us in our Delhi studios. Suneet Chopra, leader of the CPIM and All India Joint Secretary of the All India Agricultural Workers Union, joining us live from Delhi. And Junaid Mattu, spokesperson of the National Conference, joining us live from Srinagar. And Junaid Mattu, the question is, Omar Abdullah spoke within hours of 7 of our Braveheart soldiers being martyred. It was an attack even on civilians. There were 2 women and 2 children in the officers' mess that was attacked by terrorists. And already he's talking about Pakistani initiative to begin talks. Is there anything that's more repulsive at this point in time than even suggesting talks with Pakistan? He, of course, did say that it's not today, but the fact is that we've seen Pathankot, we've seen Uri, and now we've seen Nagrota. In the middle of all of this, we also saw 2 mutilation of our soldiers. At this point, to suggest talks, isn't it the most abhorrent thought for any Indian at this point?
Well, first of all, condolences to the families of the 7 martyred soldiers. Our hearts go out to them. And coming to your question, Mr. Omar Abdullah clearly stated that the responsibility to create an atmosphere for talks lies on both countries, Pakistan too. And Pakistan too should create an atmosphere that should be conducive for talks. And he said that I am not saying that we should talk now, but Pakistan too should create an atmosphere conducive for talks. That is in the bite that you ran on the TV. That is what he has said. He has never said that you should completely sideline the sacrifices of the soldiers and go on the table of dialogue tomorrow. That is not practical. But madam, anybody who says that we should talk to Pakistan is neither an anti-national nor an apologist, nor the dove that you have portrayed as some sort of a negative villain. We are saying that one option is war. It is fine to shoot our mouths off in TV studios and call and thump our chests. But if war is an option, let us all go and fight a war on the borders. We can't fight wars in TV studios. You cannot choose your neighbors. You have to talk to your neighbors about things that you condemn. We are not condoning the Nagrota attack.
Junaid Mattu, is India supposed to honor the martyrdom of Major Gosavi Kunal Manadir, Major Akshay Girish Kumar, Havaldar Sukhrat Singh, Lance Naik, Yashwant Rao Kadam, Grenadier Rajendra Singh, and Asim Rai? Should we actually go and shake hands with Pakistan the day after this martyrdom happens?
Navika.
So what are you suggesting?
Navika, I know the names. I know you have to make it personal. Nobody is suggesting you have to go and shake hands over dead bodies of your soldiers. I know you have to say that because that is you have to create that person. We are saying that both Pakistan and India have to create a conducive atmosphere. So we are not absolving Pakistan. Until Pakistan stops these attacks from happening, obviously
you're doing a great favor.
You are doing it.
You're doing a great favor.
What kind of conducive atmosphere you expect India to create, sir?
What a favor you're doing.
What kind of conducive environment? Actually, you don't expect any sympathy for the soldiers.
Attacks like
those who lamented over the death of Burhan Wani.
Attacks like
I don't expect them to even.
When we say conducive atmosphere,
soldiers. That's number 1. Number 2, what kind of conducive atmosphere? You mean tomorrow Indian government should go and beg at Wagah, ask Pakistani administration, come on, let's hug, let's talk, let's be pally. Is that what you expect? Is that what we want to tell our soldiers, the martyrs, the families? Come on, your people are dying. You're being paid to be standing in uniform, and I'm going to talk to the perpetrators of crime.
Please listen to me. Junaid Mattu,
listen to me.
Before you accuse others of shooting their mouth off,
listen to me. When we say a conducive atmosphere should be created, when we say a conducive
who is
atmosphere
responsible? Tell Pakistanis to create a conducive environment. Don't tell Delhi to do that. If you have any proximity to Islamabad, please tell it to Pakistan. Tell it to Islamabad. If you're feeling so sad about it.
Can I come in? Stop screaming.
Whatever you tell us. Junaid Mattu, whatever you tell the government
You're
of
an
India,
anchor, stop
my humble request, Junaid Mattu, is
when we say a conducive atmosphere should be created, give me a second and then I'll air you out. Give me a second.
Yes.
Give me a second.
Yes.
I will answer your question. When we say a conducive atmosphere should be created, we say the pre-objective of that conducive atmosphere is that such sort of terrorist attack should stop. So please try to understand what we mean by an atmosphere.
I think
Mattu,
is Pakistan listening? Is Pakistan listening? Please.
Mattu, this statement is unwarranted because of simple reason. At a time when the nation is, mourning the, sacrifice of 7 of our brave soldiers, you cannot equate India and Pakistan on same platter. Sorry, I do agree that there should be a dialogue with Pakistan, but not at this time. And you have no right.
No, please
your party have no right to say that India should also create a conducive atmosphere.
India has done much more even in the recent past.
When did we say this time?
Goodwill gesture.
When did we say this time?
We did not say this time. Junaid Mattu, now you hear me out. Now you hear me out, please. 2014. The invitation for the Pak PM and all the SAARC nations happened during the swearing-in ceremony. What did we get? Gurdaspur attack in July 2015. In December 2015, another goodwill gesture. PM Modi makes a stopover in Pakistan. What did we get? Pathankot airstrike. Then, August 2015, India releases 16 Pakistani soldiers. What do we get? BSF convoy attacked by by Pakistanis. Then what do we get in October? We get the beheading of one of our soldiers. What do we get a month later on the 22nd of November? Another of our soldiers being mutilated. And now what do we get? We get Nagrota. In between this, there is the Uri strike. Now, at what level can you not understand that India might want to talk, but Pakistan has no intentions? Their intentions are not honorable even to the people of Kashmir, who they claim they are fighting for. Because who's burned down 110 schools in Kashmir, sir? Who's done it? Those people who do not want education, those people who do not want the people of Kashmir to get the benefits of read, write and arithmetic and wrote. That's exactly the point. And how can you turn around and say we should talk? Because there is no point talking to people who do not want to talk. That's as plain and simple as that.
Can I answer?
That it's as plain and simple as that, Junaid Mattu.
Can I answer? Can I answer? Can I answer? Can I answer? You have given a very impassioned speech. I thought you would ask a question. Please let me answer.
Dr. Patra, coming to you.
My answer will be, my answer will be shorter than your question. We are not for a moment saying that we are dishonoring the sacrifices of our soldiers. But please, Anand, with a very calm heart and head, understand that when people die on the LOC and the border, they are from this state. There are human costs of conflict. When we talk about peaceful ways of resolving a conflict, that doesn't mean we're apologists or cowards. And neither does screaming and shouting in TV studios.
How do you engage with Pakistan?
The point is, Junaid Mattu, the question is the basics.
You have to
talk to
Pakistan. There is no
option. On a day within hours of 7 of our soldiers being martyred, how can Omar Abdullah even suggest a normalcy or initiative being taken by Pakistan? That's the point that's being questioned here. But let me get in Dr. Sambit Patra. Dr. Sambit Patra, what Omar Abdullah also said today is how many more body bags
head on his shoulders
before we have... okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
we will question that sanity in just a bit. How sane that head is when he does not turn around and say Pakistan does not want to talk. Why can't he say that? Does he not understand that?
Can I please come in
India,
over here?
Despite its repeated efforts, the fact is the option right now, Junaid Mattu, is
maybe the ISI is in touch with you.
They must end terror and sit and talk. It's not that India has to talk to Pakistan. We have to make a situation that we will not talk till Pakistan comes to talk to us on the condition that they stop these terror activities. Dr. Sambit Patra.
India should talk. India should
talk what, Junaid Mattu? Talk what and with whom? With whom? The army army, the ISI, who should India talk with? A terror state, that's what Pakistan is. Should India be talking to a terror state? You're saying that India hasn't been isolated yet. Pakistan hasn't been isolated yet. Is that the state you want India to talk to? Within hours of 7 of our soldiers being martyred, how can you even suggest it?
Who did Prime Minister Modi?
Can I answer?
The mother of all peace initiatives was Wi-Fi being stripped to Pakistan. That was the mother of all peace.
Yeah, and what did we get after that meet? I just stated what we got after that meet. I just stated what we got after that meet.
We got Kargil.
Every time we tried to talk, they have stabbed us, they have killed our people and they have attacked us. Junaid Bhattu, and you still don't get the logic.
After Mumbai,
Not a one-man debate, and we all be drawn into the debate.
Got your point, Dr. Patra, coming to you. Dr. Patra, coming to you. Dr. Patra, the question many are asking in
Prime
this
Minister
country.
an anti-national?
Dr. Patra.
He went to Pakistan on Nawaz Sharif's birthday. Is he
I will tell you who anti-national.
Don't compare Prime Minister's initiative. Don't compare despite that.
Junaid Bhattu, he did exactly what you and the other peaceniks say. He did exactly what you and the other peaceniks say that the state should do, which is try to create an atmosphere for conversation. But where did that conversation lead us? Where did it get us? Did it get us to Uri? Did it get us to Nagrota? That's the point. And Dr. Sambit Patra, let me get in Dr. Sambit Patra now. Dr. Sambit Patra, question many are asking, surgical strikes, yes, but what, how many more body bags before you actually talk the serious business of retribution? India has to respond to Pakistan. There has been an escalation since the surgical strike. What is the state policy as far as India is concerned? Are we to welcome Sardar Aziz at the Heart of Asia conference, or are we to send him a message in front of 40 nations, that this is not the policy that is acceptable? Should we actually concentrate on shaming Pakistan rather than engaging with Pakistan at this point?
No, definitely shaming Pakistan. But let me come to Mr. Junaid Bhattu and his party, and particularly to the statement. I'll come to that. But let us begin by what the debate started with, by the statements of Mr. Junaid Bhattu and the way Omar Abdullah had reacted today. Absolutely abhorring and shameful. And I would continue from what father of Mr. Omar Abdullah, Farooq Abdullah, had stated only a few days ago. POK tumhari baat ki hai kya? I mean, this kind of... Sir, I was not interjecting. I was not interjecting. Please don't jump on your seats. I mean, this kind of behavior, when 7 of our soldiers are lost, when 7 of our Jawans have been martyred, where you speak a voice which is a voice of Pakistan, is absolutely unbecoming. Don't do that. I heard you patiently. Hear me.
Sambit Patra, what's the voice of the BJP? What's the voice of the government? Sambit Patra, we heard what the National Conference had to say. We heard what Farooq Abdullah said a few days ago. We questioned that. We heard what Omar Abdullah said. We questioned that. Junaid Bhattu has tried to answer that. Whether it's convincing or not, let the viewers decide. But we also want to know, what is your policy against Pakistan? What is your policy? Junaid Bhattu, just wait. Junaid Bhattu, wait. Junaid Bhattu, wait. Junaid Bhattu, wait. Let the BJP answer questions. Let the BJP answer questions tonight, sir. Let the BJP answer questions tonight, sir. Dr. Sambit Patra, I'm going to be straight, short and direct to you, sir. What is your policy against Pakistan?
Let me speak.
Dr. Sambit Patra, what is the government's policy against Pakistan? What are you going to do,
I have heard your question 5 times. You have repeated your question, Mr. Anand. You have repeated your question 5 times. Yes, I will repeat, sir. Please go ahead. Answer that. So you have to allow me to speak, Mr. Anand.
Go ahead, Sambit Patra.
The policy of this government is a paradigm shift as far as Pakistan is concerned. And the recent surgical strikes have shown as to how this paradigm shift is from reactivity to proactivity. There was a time in yesteryears when India was only reactive to Pakistan. But over here, the surgical strikes have proved that India no more would be reactive, India would be proactive. Because remember, the surgical strike was not just...
Sir, how long will we live in the glory of surgical strike? That was in September. We're talking of November, we're talking Nagrota. What do we intend to do now?
I'll tell you, I'll answer that.
And there have been 2 mutilations of our soldiers' bodies, Sambit Patra. In case that little statistic escaped your attention, mutilation of 2 bodies of our 2 brave soldiers also in the interim.
Not at all.
How many more body bags are you waiting for?
Let me answer this. I mean, number one, first I object to this word doves. Please don't demean this sweet, cute, innocent bird dove. Call these people who are speaking on behalf of Pakistan as hyenas and jackals, because they are the people who are devouring on the flesh of the country where they live. Please don't call them doves. And as far as the policy of BJP is concerned,
Sharif, happy birthday.
Look, to say there is a built-up. Just a second,
Go wish him happy birthday.
Don't jump on your seats. Don't jump on your seats. Don't jump on your seats. Laugh when 7 of our Jawans have been killed. Don't laugh over here. Don't shamelessly laugh over here, Mr. Junaid Bhattu.
To the National Conference and the BJP.
I'm not a motor mouth.
The National Conference and the BJP.
I'm not a motor mouth like you.
Yes.
I think to the National Conference and the BJP. Please get back to the question. Please get back to the question as I bring in Arvind Sawant of the Shiv Sena, sir. Please tell me. Please don't call anybody else named Sambit Patra today. The onus is on the BJP.
Sambit Patra, please stop doing politics. Please stop doing politics. Respond to what you have been asked.
No, answer the question,
Mr. Anand asked me a question.
Sambit Patra answered the question to the point rather than getting into a speech mode.
Yeah, go ahead.
Number one, as far as Sartaj Aziz is concerned, you are right. He should be shamed. He, in fact, has to be exposed. Pakistan has to be exposed. And that is what the government has done.
How will you do it?
Remember the SARC summit?
No, how will you do it?
How will you do it? What's your agenda?
Why don't you send a message that he's not welcome in this country? Why don't you send a message to Pakistan? Why don't you send a message to Pakistan that he is not welcome in this country?
There is a major shift.
Why government can't? Here is a person who...
You are inviting him to Amritsar.
Send a message to Pakistan.
You are inviting him to Amritsar. You are inviting him to Amritsar as a speaker.
Please stop doing politics. We are not inviting him to Amritsar. Please get your facts right. If you have not got your facts right, please get your facts right. It is the heart of Asia Summit. It's not a bilateral talk that Sartaj Aziz is coming for. The issue is development of Afghanistan. And well, yes, India stands by its commitment that we would name and shame and expose Pakistan on every platform as we had done recently.
How will you do it, sir?
We had all
because Umar Abdullah
come
for
together.
all the
Discussion would be on Afghanistan. Discussion would be on Afghanistan.
Dr. Patra.
And you would shame Pakistan. Discussion would be on Afghanistan.
No, Naveed Hamid. Because it is
definitely
on
Afghanistan, like India has been.
India will not stop Sartaj Aziz from coming. But Arvind Sawant as part of this government, do you not believe, sir? I'm going across to Arvind Sawant, please, one second. Junaid Mattu, please wait. Let me bring in the other panelists. Allow the other panelists also to come, sir, please. Junaid Mattu, please wait. Junaid Mattu, please wait. I request you, please wait. Arvind Sawant, you're part of the NDA, sir. May I ask you this?
Junaid, why are you so...
If Sartaj Aziz cannot be stopped from coming and attending the Heart of Asia Summit, can he be made to think twice about coming to India? Can he be made to think and worry about what he will face if he steps foot into Amritsar? I think we should do it.
Let me first begin with... Please let me first pay tribute, homage to the martyr soldiers. And both of you, I mean, Anand, yourself and Navika, let me heartily welcome both of you because you spoke heart out what we speak. And really, I am telling you, before the launching of the debate, the way you introduced the debate, it was wonderful, and it was heart out of the Shiv Sena, what you were asking the question to all these people, panel. And therefore, sir, to have a talk with Pakistan, we simply against it, totally against it. What for we should talk to them? I do not understand. There are senior panelists over here. I will ask a simple logical question. For last 70 years, are we not talking to Pakistan? Have you not created a conducive atmosphere? There may be a lot of differences with even the present government, but still you will have to appreciate that the Honorable Prime Minister took so much of initiative to create a conducive atmosphere, but it was not responded positively by Pakistan. Don't forget, I will little bit deviate from the present issue. Whether Pakistan has ever accepted Dawood is there in Pakistan, whether Pakistan has taken any action against that Masood or that Salahuddin or that Hafiz, Are they taking any action against all these terrorist leaders? No. They have never ever come forward to maintain a peace across the border and in India. And every act of them, let it be Mujahid, let it be Jaish-e-Mohammed, whichever it may be, it's a proxy war. It cannot be done without the support of the defense military of Pakistan. It cannot be done without the support of the government of Pakistan. Don't deny it. And therefore no talks at all unless a peace is maintained at the border. Unless the terrorist activities have been stopped. No more activities with Pakistan. And we have, in fact, I have written a letter to the Speaker of the Parliament asking her to pass a resolution in the Parliament which will say cease all relations with Pakistan, may it be economical, social, cultural. Stop it right now. No more talks unless a peace is maintained.
Okay.
And that's what is the opinion of the
That's a comment made fair and square. The Shiv Sena unambiguous about its stand as far as Pakistan is concerned. But let me go across to Suneet Chopra of the CPIM. Suneet Chopra, what is the CPIM stand on Pakistan? In fact, in August 2014, during the violence in Gaza, Sitaram Yechury called for an international isolation of Israel. How come when it comes to Pakistan, you only advocate talks with Pakistan? Why not isolation of Pakistan? Why not condemning any effort to carry on a dialogue with Pakistan at a time when our soldiers have died in Uri, 19 of them, when 7 of our brave soldiers have died in Nagnota? Why at this moment should any leader in the Indian polity actually advocate talks with Pakistan?
Nobody is advocating talks. What we have to understand is that the foreign policy of any country, the foreign policy of any country
I just want you to
is related to its internal policy. There must be calibration between what we are doing at the border and what we are doing at home. You have done a surgical strike at the border, and you have done a surgical strike on your own people at home. How are you going to seriously tackle Pakistan in this condition?
Answer your question, Suneet Chopra. Answer about the left's position. Where is the rally? Where is the rally against Pakistan? Where is the clarion call to isolate Pakistan? Where is Suneet Chopra? Let's talk about the left and its position today. Enough of taking pot shots at others. Let's call your bluff today, sir. Can you have one position on one nation and its policies, and can you have another trumpet or another song, another tune to sing? As far as it's different. Suneet Chopra, will you answer the question? Will you answer the question that Navika asked you? What is the left's position? Where is the left today out on the streets demanding an isolation of Pakistan? Why aren't you calling out for protests, and why aren't you carrying out protests against Pakistan, calling for its total isolation? I have not heard that. Why aren't you doing it today?
Pakistan.
Don't engage as to what somebody else is doing. I'm asking you what the left will do. What is the left going to do?
Failed to isolate Pakistan.
Ratan Shahda ji, coming to you.
You have confused your people with an internal finance.
Yeah, but you seem confused yourself.
Comrade Chopra, you came out in street to defend.
Obviously, you find that question very difficult to answer because you're deviating from the main topic. No, we are saying that when you condemn and ask for isolation of Israel, why don't you ask for isolation of Pakistan? What stops you? Why don't you answer that simple question? Why deviate to the other issues like demonetization? You've been part of several debates on this channel itself, which are being...
You're making it stronger. You fail.
What are you doing? What are you doing to isolate Pakistan?
That's because the political class cannot speak in the same voice.
What are you going to do?
Sir, on the Gaza issue, all the comrades got together at Jantar Mantar and protested against Israel. You asked for isolation of Israel. We didn't have diplomatic relations with Israel for such a long period of time. Now, why don't you tomorrow come out at Jantar Mantar, ask Narendra Modi government to take diplomatic initiatives against Pakistan?
Like Amartya Sen has called it dictatorial, and he has also called it...
Sunil Chopra, Sunil Chopra, you and the left today stand exposed on the News Hour tonight, sir, that when it is a straight, direct question that is asked of you, when you go roundabout, trying to use the Jalebi formula, you stand exposed. We will believe the left and its position, and whatever you want to say, the day you stand in Jantar Mantar and call for a global isolation of Pakistan, just like you stood and called for Israel because of whatever you claim they have done with Palestine. Understand, you can take that position for Israel, but not for Pakistan. If you stand exposed, Sunil Chopra, you stand exposed.
Question that was asked of you.
Would he support government
comment? You have no reply to that. Clearly, you are deviating from the subject itself.
Comrade Chopra, your empathy is with Hamas Mujahideen, Hamas terrorists, but not with your own soldiers. And they are the cream of our society, sir.
Sunil Chopra and the left today, ladies and gentlemen, and Sunil Chopra and the left today stand exposed because they failed to answer a straightforward, simple one-line question, even on a 3-minute non-stop monologue by Sunil Chopra. That's what's happened. So Sunil Chopra, till the left figures out and agrees that they have been dichotomous in their position with regards to Pakistan, you have to come out and you'll wait, because we will move on from you and go across to Ratan Sharda and Shabnam Lone, who've been patiently hearing you. Ratan Sharda. Why is it so difficult to state a clear policy against Pakistan? Why is it so difficult to say?
That's all I ask
Ratan Sharda, yeah, coming to you, Ratan Sharda. Coming to you, Ratan Sharda and Shabnam Lone, Arvind Sawant made a very, very pertinent point. 70 years we've tried to make conducive atmosphere. 70 years we've tried to sit on the table and talk. And 70 years we've been stabbed in the back. 70 years we've been losing soldiers. 70 years we've had our soldiers mutilated. We've had people being pounded. We've been Kashmir, life in Kashmir being dislodged. We've seen schools being damaged. Who will damage schools? Who damages schools? Who damages the temples of education and says it's for the welfare of a particular people? How do you trust such people, sir? How do you do that, Ratan Sharda? Why should we engage and talk to such people?
More than 10,000 schools have been closed.
Yes, Ratan Sharda. Sunil Chopra, please introspect for some time.
First of all,
Ratan Sharda.
Let us stop. Let us not indulge either in breast beating or chest thumping. Secondly, we have to walk the talk. Let us stop being complainant, carrying files across the world, complaining about Pakistan, crying copiously with the terror files which nobody looks at. Let us be judge. Let us take action when it is required. We have been making a lot of statements. Why don't we withdraw MFN status? Why don't you stop Indus River water? Why don't you downgrade not just freeze the ties, simply downgrade your consulate embassy, remove the embassies, downgrade the whole diplomatic relations and freeze the relations. Don't talk to them at all, simply take action. It is no use, going after them and speaking. Yourself, you are not calling it a terrorist state. Expect the world to call him a terrorist state. What is this? A private member brings a bill. Why not the government bring a bill? That's a terrorist state. Not only that, we have to damage Pakistan's economy. We have not removed MFN. We are giving them cattle, exporting cattle of millions of rupees started in 2005 by UPA. Once we stop that, once we stop FN, the economy suffers. They talk of 1,000 cuts. Simply give them 5 cuts. Put them on Balochistan, put them on POJK, put them on MAT for Sindh, and they are finished. We are just waiting and waiting. If they can fight for 1,000 years, we can just have a sustained war 50 years. Within 50 years, they will collapse before that. And let us just have a sustained hostility without pandering to their so-called talks, without carrying files like a complainant. Take the judgment and attack them. Wherever your chance, economic attack, financial attack, isolation, call them a terrorist state. Don't expect others to call them.
The question many will ask Ratan Sharda is this the time for paper activities like reducing the MFN status? These are issues that you do on files inside government rooms and government parties.
These are demonstrative. You can cripple them. You can cripple them economically, Navika.
Enough of demonstrative measures. We have to stop fighting for our own territory on our land.
That's the limited point that I'm making. That we are looking at body bags. We are looking at our soldiers being martyred
on our own land.
We have still not recovered from Uri and our 19 soldiers being martyred.
I said,
got Nagrota and
Navika,
7 of our soldiers being martyred.
Neither can we sit back. Government will take action.
government, Navika government has shown
and the army's been talking about retribution. So retribution in what form and how soon?
Have some policy.
That's the question. But let me get in Ratan Sharda. Let me also get in Shabnam Lone, who hasn't spoken yet. Absolutely. Let me get in Shabnam Lone, who hasn't spoken yet. Shabnam Lone, you know the increasing hand of Jaish-e-Mohammed in the Nagrota attacks. That's been stated by the armed forces. That's the evidence that we've got today. You also know that the Pakistani state and the Jaish-e-Mohammed are completely involved. How Masood Azhar has been protected by the state of Pakistan is not a secret for anybody. In fact, it was Masood Azhar who even went on record right after the Uri attacks and said that there was not a single case against him in any police station across Pakistan. That's the way he speaks. Are you saying that India should engage in talks with a country that actually backs terror, that actually backs the Jaish-e-Mohammed, that's costed us our Uri soldiers, it's costed us the lives of our 7 soldiers in Nagrota? Can India go back to the same terror-backed state which actually promotes Jaish-e-Mohammed?
Now, Navika, just give me 2 minutes since I haven't spoken and I've listened to every learned panelist with patience. Now, let me start from here. As the horizon of my deeply wounded valley continues to be singed with blood, tears, trauma and terror, question is, it is the time for action, not catchy rhetoric. I'll just put 3 points. What happens when a sovereign nation is threatened, when its sovereignty is threatened, when the life, liberty of its people is threatened? Now, there are 3 options. Either you go for all-out military offensive, or there is a diplomatic offensive, or there is an economic offensive. Now, kindly answer my questions. Now, as far as the economic blockade is concerned, Pakistan continues to remain the most favored nation, despite these rivers of blood. You see, you have soldiers getting beheaded, you have officers being killed, you have civilians being killed in Kashmir, children, men and women. Despite this surfeit of rivers of blood in the valley, has the economic activity stopped? No, it has not stopped. Has the most favored nation status been stopped? No, it is very much there. It is an irony. On the one hand, we find people making speeches after speeches, extreme, catchy rhetoric, nationalistic rhetoric. But what happens when it comes to business interests? The business is going on as usual, where there are rivers of blood, there are rivers of money flowing too. Now, you can't have money and blood in the same way.
Respond to that, Sambit Patra. That's Shabnam Lone and Ratan Sharda both raising the same questions. What happens to the economic blockade? What happens to the diplomatic blockade? What happens to, other steps that you need to take, international isolation as well? So far, it's been limited impact as far as Pakistan is concerned. What's the next move of the government going to be?
Right question. And in fact, we all have to remember, and since this is a learned panel as rightly put by Shabnam Lone, the panel must be aware of the fact that diplomacy is not a one-step phenomenon. It is definitely step-after-step approach that we see in diplomacy. Naturally, as I pointed out in my last deliberation, that a shift from reactivity to proactivity has taken place as far as the ground is concerned. Surely, as far as exposing Pakistan on various platforms is concerned, we have seen on all the international platforms, India has exposed Pakistan. As far as impositions on Pakistan is concerned, look, when I say a step-by-step approach is concerned, look, the question that has come even from the NC right now to us, Junaid Mattu was asking me as to why the Prime Minister went to Pakistan, why the Prime Minister invited Nawaz Sharif to his swearing-in ceremony.
Answer this question, Sambit Patra, please. I'm going to intervene today. I'm going to intervene today, Sambit Patra. Every time you try and take the debate and deflect the question, sir, I'm going to call this bluff. Please don't do it, sir. With due respect, Shabnam Lone and Ratan Sharda asked a straightforward question. What about the MFN status? If you have so much of an issue with Pakistan, why haven't you removed the MFN?
I was answering that, but let me be direct. All these sympathizers, let me answer that. Don't shout on me if you want an answer. If you don't want an answer, I have no issue.
Sambit Patra.
Sambit Patra,
if you want an answer, I'm ready to answer.
That is not what we want to hear on this debate.
I'm ready to answer if you allow me to answer.
Right.
So answer the question.
Let's go. Shabnam Lone versus Sambit Patra. Shabnam Lone's question.
No.
Sambit Patra.
Rhetoric.
Let's hear Sambit
No, Navika, you saying the surgical strike was a rhetoric.
Let's hear
you
Sambit
saying that
Patra's
this
answer.
government's approach is a rhetoric is bunkum. These are facts. These are true. Don't
Dr. Sambit Patra, please consider. Please answer Shabnam Lone's question. Please answer Shabnam Lone's question.
Permanent resume.
Lalit Ambardar said, Sambit Patra, Lalit Ambardar said the surgical strikes were in September. We looked at mutilated bodies of our soldiers in October and November. There have been the Uri attacks, there have been the Nagrota attacks. What breaks? You have to move on. You have to move on from the surgical strikes and tell this country what next.
I won't be able to understand if you have to.
Excellent.
If you want an answer.
Right. Sambit Patra, you know what Shabnam Lone's question was. Shabnam Lone, one sec. Dr. Sambit Patra, please hear me out. Shabnam Lone, one sec.
No, I heard the question. I heard Shabnam Lone.
You know the question. Let's get back there. Let's get there and let's take it forward. Let's get there. Sambit Patra, let's get there. Let's take it forward. MFN status. What is happening? Let's go. Yes, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
As far as MFN status and the Indus Water Treaty is concerned, as I told you, diplomacy is a step-by-step process and approach. All those who understand this have already understood this. Definitely remember, when we were talking about the Indus Water Treaty, remember the same people whom you call the doves today, these were the same people, including Shabnam Lone, who were objecting to it, saying that this would be in fact inhuman. The same Shabnam Lone who was questioning us on the pellet gun use, saying that the army
Answer the MFN question. Answer the MFN question.
Nothing to do with the pellet gun. Come on,
answer
I have answered that. I have answered that.
Adani is involved in the
I have answered that, Anand.
Okay, and answer Ratan Shata's question. Sambit Patra.
Those families,
Sambit
their lives have been upturned.
Stop
Do you know what happens when people die?
Anand,
Do you know what happens?
they would not have been because Adani is involved in this is Pakistan.
Sir, I'm not getting into personal.
Whom Arnab Goswami had continuously asked whether you would speak against Nawaz Sharif, and despite Arnab Goswami asking you 10 times, you had not replied. You had not condemned Nawaz Sharif.
Sambit Patra. Sambit Patra,
let's get to the point.
Sambit Patra, you can question.
Sambit Patra, let's get to the point. Sambit Patra, the question we are asking is, and that's the point raised by Ratan Sharda, what prevents you from reducing the diplomatic presence of Pakistan in India? Why are you not looking at the option of reducing the diplomatic presence of Pakistan in India? Just 2 days ago, the Pakistan High Commissioner said there should be talks. Within 24 hours, there was Nagrota. The question is blockade, economic blockade, diplomatic blockade. Answer the direct question that's been asked by Ratan Sharda and Shabnam Lone.
Look, Ratan Sharda, I would not answer Shabnam Lone because Shabnam Lone has a hypocritic way of putting questions. To my friend Ratan Sharda, I would say, well, yes, Ratan Sharda ji, you have to have faith on this government. I'm answering your question. If both of you have put the same question, let me answer Ratan Sharda. You get your answer.
You are having a government
to Ratan Sharda ji.
And listen to me.
Shabnam Lone, let's see if Sambit Patra answers Ratan Sharda's question because it was almost on the same lines as yours. Shabnam Lone.
Come on.
Shabnam Lone, please don't throw stones at me.
Sambit Patra, you represent the ruling party of India.
Shabnam Lone said the wrong thing.
I'm answering.
Sambit Patra, you represent the ruling party of India. You have to engage with everybody and convince everybody.
You have failed their families.
That's why I'm asking the question.
I don't answer people who do not condemn Nawaz Sharif. I don't answer people who stand on the same line as Pakistan. She has to condemn Nawaz Sharif first. She has to condemn Pakistan first to listen to my answer. Otherwise, I would answer the same question. I would answer the same question raised by Ratan Sarda, my fellow friend.
Go ahead, Sambit Patra, answer the question. Shabnam Loan. Yes, Shabnam Loan, the question has been noted. Shabnam Loan, the question. Shabnam Loan, the question has been noted. I would request our panelists to rise above personal insinuations and answer the larger questions which this country wants the answers to. Shabnam Loan, there are a few questions that we would like you also to answer, but let Sambit Patra answer this question, please. Sambit Patra, answer the question. Shabnam Loan, please calm down. Shabnam Loan, please calm down. Shabnam Loan, please calm down. Shabnam Loan, I request you, please calm down. There are questions that we would like you also to answer, but please.
Okay. Let's get some.
There are questions that we would like you to answer, Shabnam Loan, but first let Sambit Patra answer.
Both Sambit Patra and Shabnam Loan. We'll first go to Sambit Patra and then we'll come to you, Shabnam Loan. Please, let's follow the method in this debate, which is one person answers the questions first and then we go to the next.
And stick with the present, Sambit Patra. You don't need to keep delving into the past.
I would answer the question, and in fact, Shabnam could derive from that because the question was same. Ratanji, you have to have faith on this government. You have to see the way the government has moved step by step. Initially, when the chapter of diplomacy was opened during the regime of Mr. Modi, all the invitation to Nawaz Sharif, the visit to Pakistan was because of the fact that, well, we wanted talks, we wanted a new relationship, we wanted peace. But when it was proved that they never wanted peace, when Pakistan backstabbed, the answer was clear. We are not going to sit back and take all that from Pakistan. And that's the reason as to why we had the surgical strike. And remember, as I said, step by step, there were talks on Indus water, remember.
What is the next step?
So let me get next question in.
Remember, when we have talked, just a second, when the talks are on, when the issue has been discussed, why should I give away those talks on television debate? We all have to wait.
It a terror state?
There is a private member bill on the floor. There is a private... Ratanji, there is a private member bill. Do you want me to spin out all the strategy of the government over here on television?
It is not true that the Foreign Office has not decided about the visit of Modi to Sharif residence, but it was BJP's financial advisors, Jindal and Adani,
does not decide foreign policy. The government decides foreign policy, sir.
Can you prove this?
And let me
Can you prove this, Naveed, before you make this? No, don't make these insinuations unnecessarily. Don't make these insinuations unnecessarily. I will. No, sir. These insinuations are not required.
In newspapers.
What question? No. Why don't you ask? No. What question?
You have to have.
Listen. Please don't make these insinuations. Whatever they say, you have the evidence. You don't have the evidence. Don't make personal insinuations. Ask straightforward questions in terms of straightforward questions in policy. Ask straightforward questions in policy. Don't make personal insinuations here. That will not be accepted. That will not happen on this debate, sir. That will not happen. Yes, Javed. Yes, Lalit Ambarta.
Yeah, you see, I don't know whether we actually understand what we have on hand. So the genesis of this issue, the Kashmir Jihad, Anti-India Kashmir Jihad, goes back to 1947, right? As a hardcore secularist turned Islamist Jinnah asked for Pakistan, and the secular, most liberal Jawaharlal Nehru and rest of the Congress obliges him, offers Pakistan on a platter. And what follows? Follows 1947 attack on Kashmir. Then followed 1965, then 1971, and now we have Kashmir Jihad since 1988-89. Tell me one thing, what will move us? Kashmiri Hindu genocide did not move us. Scores of terrorist strikes across India, which can be very easily traced to Pakistan through POK and Kashmir, never moved us. This 26/11 Mumbai massacre, what happened? 3-4 months there was a strategic lull on our part. Next time we had a cricket match in Chandigarh, and we declared all Pakistan establishment as men of peace. See, this mollycoddling of Pakistan has been going on since 1947. You see, the two-nation theory, they have not given up their two-nation theory. They still claim Kashmir is part of the unfinished agenda of partition partition. What was partition based on? It was based on two-nation theory.
Well,
let me. I'm coming to the very point. You see, who understand diplomacy? Those who understand diplomacy, you can be diplomatic with them. Those who understand the value of statesmanship will regard your statesmanship. These guys claim to be progenies of Mohammed bin Qasim and Ahmad Shah Abdali. They keep on talking on your channels here. And can you imagine talking sense to barbarians? Please stop, close the borders. Like North Korea has been isolated from the rest of the world, isolate Pakistan, don't expect others to do it for us. Let's take the initiative ourselves. Close the border, close all relations with them.
The question goes back to you, Junaid Mattu. Should we be looking at blockade, economic and diplomatic blockade with Pakistan, or should we be talks with Pakistan, dialogue with Pakistan? Is that the language at this point this country is willing to speak? And can we have all political parties on the same page together in this country before we decide what we do with Pakistan? We don't even have our own domestic political parties on the same page. Junaid Mattu, how much time will it take all political parties to come to a consensus?
Look at the behavior in Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha.
Junaid Mattu.
Navika asked them to behave first of all in Parliament. They are disgrace to the forces.
Whoever you are, you can, let me answer the question. You can start with your name calling after that. Let me answer the question.
And they are
you can start your name calling after I answer the question. Listen, Mr. Whoever you are,
it's not name calling.
Question, then you can
I have not disturbed you. I have not said you are anti-national. I have never accused you of anything. You can be dumb at the most, not anti-national for speaking that language. I have never said that.
What
I am saying that communists and Congress is to create a spectacle in Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. They have no right, they have no respect for the army.
Is your name Junaid Mattu?
I have not spoken against you.
Is your name Junaid Mattu? The question was
Junaid Mattu is trying to answer the question, Ratan Sharda. Yes, Junaid Mattu. Answer. Is this the opportunity that your party chief, that your former chief minister, Omar Abdullah, finds to talk about talks with Pakistan?
Today for the soldiers. Don't let them talk rubbish.
I heard your question.
Sunil Chopra, till the left gets it act right, we don't need to consider whatever you have to say because you are dichotomous and you're hypocritical in your position. That stands proved there. Yes.
Junaid Mattu.
Yes, Junaid Mattu.
But
See.
Sunil Chopra, please calm down. Junaid Mattu, I have limited time, sir. We have limited time. Allow Junaid Mattu to complete. Yes, Junaid Mattu.
Military options are open to the government. It is for Sambit Patra's party to consider what options they have to take. My only point is that proponents of military aggression alone should answer the question that after the surgical strike was conducted, there have been more than 170 ceasefire violations. We've had the Nagrota attack. So if that whole argument about surgical strikes being a deterrent, after Udi there was a surgical strike. So if they have set that standard, then there should be a surgical strike after Nagrota also. After every attack there should be a surgical strike. What is different?
But as a political party, Junaid Mattu,
important than the lives lost of the soldiers in Nagrota? If that
Junaid Mattu, as you didn't answer the basic question that I asked you, Junaid Mattu,
yes,
can we get a political consensus?
Our point.
Where is the political consensus? Will you say that you will be behind any decision taken by the Prime Minister?
No, this is a democracy.
Democracy doesn't mean that when it comes to a terrorist attack attacking your soldiers, in a democracy, it doesn't give you the right to differ on questions when it involves a terrorist state.
Because a democracy, we differ and disagree with this government.
But not on an issue which talks about the soldiers' lives lost.
Pakistan.
A democracy doesn't give you the right to differ on issues when it comes to the national security of the country. And this is an issue of national security. This is an issue of foreign policy of the country with a terror state. On this, can we have some basic consensus?
On this democracy?
Navika, please let me answer your question. I have a sore throat. Please let me answer the question. I have a sore throat, and then Sambit can come in. I just want to make a quick point that it is for them to decide their course of action. But when they behave as...
Will you stand by the government if they decide to attack Pakistan tomorrow?
Celebrating the birthday of Nawaz
Mr. Junaid Mattu, will you stand by the government section if they decide to bomb Rawalpindi and all the terror centers in Pakistan? Will you stand by the government?
Okay, Sambit Patra, concluding remarks to you. Respond to Junaid Mattu. He has said that his party will support your party.
We are not here to support BJP blindly.
Sambit Patra, respond to Junaid Mattu.
BJP.
And once again,
Arvind Sawant was saying something.
Junaid Mattu, let's not fight. Let's conclude this debate in a very civil way.
Sambit Patra, just allow 10 seconds to Arvind Sawant and then you may conclude, sir.
First I would like to say that...
10 seconds to Arvind Sawant and then you may conclude, sir.
I have...
No, you will conclude, Sambit Patra. You are concluding the debate. 10 seconds to Arvind Sawant.
First thing is that...
Yes,
Sambit ji.
Okay.
Sambit, 1 moment. Sambit, first declared Pakistan as the non-favored, most favored of state, instead of say it is the most terrorist state. This is one. Secondly, to believe and trust the statements of the Pakistani political leaders, it is a mistake. It's not only a mistake, it will be a blunder. And the devastation of Pakistan fully and creation of the old Hindustan is the answer for all these things.
Okay, Sambit Patra, concluding remarks. Your alliance partner has made his point of view clear. Now it's up to you, because as far as the National Conference is concerned, they haven't assured you that they will be with you, because they feel even on an issue of national security, political parties in India have a right to differ. Even on that, consensus is not the mantra they would like to follow. But yes, over to you, Sambit Patra.
Navika, I agree with Junaid Mattu when he says that India is a democracy and they have the right to differ from the government. Well, yes, that is the beauty of this country. But look at the scenes today that we saw in the parliament. I mean, well, yes, the parliament was meeting. You had some different views. You could have easily stood up on the floor of the parliament. Rather than creating a ruckus, you could have put your voice. You could have asked the government the questions that you're asking me over here on the television. All of you could have asked those questions, sat down together, put your head together to get the solution of it. But rather than that, the way the opposition behaved was absolutely, I would say, puerile and churlish in behavior. Number two, I mean, we had seen, well, Mr. Mattu may be saying that they may be with us today or may not be with us today when we take any action against Pakistan. But we had seen as to how a larger part of opposition in this country had behaved when the surgical strike took place. There were people in the opposition who were calling it Khoon ki dalali. There were people in the opposition who were asking for proof. So naturally, this kind of political rhetoric which takes over national security is something which is very disturbing, which is very devastating, very dangerous for the political discourse of the country, and that is the reason as to why I would extend my hand to Junaid Mattu to say, please, for God's sake, in democracy, let's differ. But issues like national security, let's stand rock solid together, let's expose Pakistan, and let's show Pakistan the mirror. Together we would win, divided we would fall.
Will that ever happen, or is it a pipe dream? We let the viewers judge that, because you've seen this debate, a political consensus on national security or action against Pakistan, even on issues like this. Democracy is the vein they speak in, not political consensus. We leave the judgment to our viewers to decide which way this political battle is going to go when it comes to taking a decision on what to do next with Pakistan. We'll take a short break and be back very soon.
The news hour at 9 will be right back after the break.
Tonight, on the news hour at 10, time to label Pakistan a terror state.
Welcome back. A country that is on the verge of anarchy and grapples with a massive credibility crisis always attempts to divert attention by resorting to treacherous means, more importantly, attack India.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the rogue state of Pakistan not only uses terror as a cowardly design against India, but also uses it as a propaganda machine to mislead people of its own country.
Pathankot attack in January 2016. 7 soldiers martyred. Uri attack in September 2016. 18 brave hearts sacrificed their lives. And now Nagrota terror attack. 7 army personnel sacrificing their lives to save many more in this big army camp.
There is enough evidence available that exposes Pakistan's role in Nagrota army camp attack. Right from Urdu handwritten notes recovered from encounter site that speaks of avenging death of Afzal Guru and intercept between terrorists and handlers sitting across the border and material recovered from army camp. All points fingers towards neighbor.
The latest attack coming just days before Sartaj Aziz is set to arrive in India for an internal diplomatic summit. India has ruled out any possibility of a bilateral, but will instead raise terror issue at the platform.
At the Heart of Asia Summit, India will do what it did at BRICS and the SAARC Summit, corner Pakistan. India will say that terrorism is the issue confronting the world, and Pakistan is the epicenter of terrorism.
Terrorism is among the biggest challenges that, in fact, it is the biggest challenge which has beset the whole region. It is responsible for the situation in Afghanistan right now. It's a major threat of instability, threat to peace. So therefore we have to discuss this question and we have to face it very squarely. I think Heart of Asia Ministerial Conference provides us with that opportunity.
Unless we take a collective measure to fight terrorism, to fight the breeding ground of terrorism, the safe sanctuaries, we will not be able to bring peace and stability either to Afghanistan or to anyone else in the region, mainly India.
Since surgical strikes, over 25 brave lives have been lost and almost 200 martyred since 2015. Isn't it time to put any ties with Pakistan in deep freeze? Bureau Report, Times Now.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Time to call Pakistan a terrorist state, because if they won't hand out terrorists and give them back to us and treat them as respectable citizens in their country, we have no other option but to call them a terrorist state. That's the debate, debate number 2 on the News Hour tonight. Joining us this evening, Saurav Shukla, Editor-in-Chief, Newsmobile.in, Major General G.D. Pakshi, Editor, Indian Military Review, Colonel Arasin Singh, Author and Strategic Affairs Expert, G. Parthasarathy, former High Commissioner to Pakistan. And over from Pakistan, our guest this evening, Colonel Asad Mahmood, Senior Defence Analyst, Dr. Shabana Fayaz, Defence and Security Expert, and Lieutenant Colonel Shafqat Saeed, Defence Analyst, joining us from Islamabad. Lieutenant Colonel Shafqat Saeed, Maulana Masood Azhar and the Jaish-e-Mohammed are behind Nagrota, just like they are behind Pathankot. If you really are fighting terrorism, send him back. Allow Indian courts to bring him to justice. Then we'll talk.
Now, I think if you want to take him to the Indian court, you can't do that by discussing him like this or asking me. I'm a defense analyst. And I think all the terrorists must stand trial and they must be punished fairly. They must be made an example that nobody thinks of terrorism ever. And I think if you want to get Masood Azhar,
you know the laws in Pakistan, sir. You know the laws in Pakistan. If an individual is responsible for perpetrating terror on foreign soil, then that person needs to be extradited and sent across to the country where he's perpetrated these crimes. So Masood Azhar and Jaish-e-Mohammed hand is direct involvement, because we've got notings and we've got proof today on Nagrota that they are part of the so-called Afzal Guru squad, which is part of the Jaish-e-Mohammed. And there is a direct link to Maulana Masood Azhar. So that's why I'm saying, act as a responsible nation.
We can do this deal.
May I ask you, Lieutenant Colonel Shafqat Saeed, do you believe that if Pakistan seriously is fighting terrorism, it should first up say, here are these people, we don't need them in our soil. I'm saying, sir, why can't Pakistan start by saying, here are these people, we don't need them on our soil.
Must be brought to justice.
We don't need them on our soil. Do you believe that they should say,
I don't need them
people
anywhere.
like Dawood Ibrahim?
They must not be anywhere.
Yeah. Why can't you say right now today that you urge the government of Pakistan, the democratically elected civilian government of Pakistan, to send across and send out all these people who are vitiating the atmosphere in Pakistan and creating trouble in India? Why can't we say that, sir, today?
Why you are trying to extract sort of a confession from me? Don't do that. I gave you an analysis. I gave my analysis.
I told you
I'm
not
that
expecting
yes,
a
all
confession.
terrorists must be punished.
Sir, you're a learned man. That's why I'm asking you, why can't the sane voices speak with sanity today?
Therefore I'm telling you.
Why can't we start from today?
That's why I'm telling you. Don't try to extract a statement like that from me. I told you that all terrorists
Why?
must
Because
be
you
punished.
can't give it or you don't want to give it. No, Lieutenant Colonel Shafkat said because you can't give it or because you don't want to give it.
You can't take him from me, you know. You need to talk to government of Pakistan to take him. You are not willing to talk to
we get the drift there. We get the drift there.
You have funny formulas.
Mr. Parthasarathy, Ambassador Parthasarathy, we get the drift. So what do we do now?
Now, no, let me tell me, I know I hold General Syed as Colonel Syed in high respect, but let me tell him something. In March 2004, Lieutenant General Javed Ashraf Qazi, whom he would have known during his service career, who was retired as Director General ISI and was then Railway Minister in Musharraf's cabinet. He issued a statement in the Senate of Pakistan. He was a member of the Senate, and he said the following: "We all must acknowledge that Jaish-e-Mohammed is a terrorist organization. It was involved in the attempt to assassinate President Musharraf and in the attack of the Indian Parliament. These are parliamentary records published in newspapers like the News International. So when a minister and a former DG of the ISI calls it a terrorist organization, accuses it of having attempted to assassinate Musharraf and undertake the parliament attack. Now, I'm sure General Shafkat Syed recognizes that that is a statement in Parliament by a very responsible minister and former DG of the ISI. So the fact of the matter is that the Pakistan military continues to use terrorist groups like the Lashkar-e-Taiba and the Jaish-e-Mohammed as instruments of state policy. And I just want to say we've reached a point now where the Indian response now is going to be very different from what it was in the past.
Colonel Asad Mahmood, the question is, 13 days after the Pathankot attack, the Jaish-e-Mohammed released a tape warning India and Pakistan over acting against the Jaish-e-Mohammed. It is evident from the threat that has, this entire case that the Jaish-e-Mohammed continues to enjoy a free run in Pakistan. In fact, despite his involvement in Pathankot, in the parliament attacks and a series of other attacks, the same man in this tape, what did he say? He actually says there very clearly, lauding himself and saying, there's not a single case registered against me in any police station across Pakistan. For a man who should be charged, prosecuted for terrorism, this admission clearly shows that he's completely backed by the Pakistani state.
The former DG ISI says that the Jaish-e-Mohammed not only attacks India but also attempts to assassinate Musharraf. And I'm Colonel, I'm sure of my facts.
My question is to Colonel Asad Mahmood. Okay.
Can you hear
Respond to
me?
that, Colonel Asad Mahmood. Yes, we can hear you.
I say okay, can you hear me?
May I answer for him?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead,
Hello.
Colonel Asad Mahmood, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I would like to say a few things. As far as Pakistan is concerned, Pakistan has no policy to have like terrorism as a state policy. Let it be very, very clear. Pakistan is the country who has suffered a lot at the hands of terrorism.
Then why do you support Masood Azhar?
No, please, no, please listen to me what I'm saying. If you go back, few months back, I don't take to very far back, if you go even few months back, we were able to get hold of one of your Indian naval officers who was, I say a state agent, who was the raw agent, and who was running
Colonel Asad Mahmood. Colonel Asad Mahmood. Do you want to talk?
Yeah.
Or do you want to engage in another war of words? Do you want to talk? Let's set the discourse for this debate very clearly.
I would simply say.
Do you want to talk or do you want to engage in a war of words? Because if you want to engage in a war of words, we can do that.
Okay.
Or if you want to talk, then answer the question.
Okay.
My question, sir, the question raised by the former ambassador to Pakistan, Colonel Asad, was straightforward. That when your former DG ISI makes a statement in Parliament that the Jaish-e-Mohammed is a terror outfit, why are they being given a free hand in Pakistan if you don't back terrorism? Let's stick to that question and give me that answer, sir. You don't need to bring in Kulbhushan Yadav, etc. right now. We'll get to that, but first get to this answer.
Kulbhushan Yadav has to be brought.
You first answer this question when your former DG ISI says Jaish-e-Mohammed tried to assassinate Pervez Musharraf and also carried out the attacks on the Indian Parliament. They are a terrorist outfit. Why is Masood Azhar a free man in Pakistan?
Okay, as far as Masood Azhar is concerned and his outset is concerned, okay, he is no more existing, and there is a complete ban on that organization.
Where is he not existing?
It is out of question.
He very much exists.
No, listen to me.
He carried out Pathankot.
Yeah.
He's carried out Nagrota. He's carried out Nagrota, and what does he say on tape? He says there's not a single police case against me across Pakistan. You're saying he does not exist? He has the full backing of the state.
I would simply say like this, instead that you should look within yourself how you are handling the affairs in your country.
See, that's the problem, Colonel Asad.
You start blaming
Colonel
Pakistan.
Asad, that's the problem.
No, this is
when
the
your
problem.
Bluff is called, when your bluff is called, you try to duck, dodge and
What are the problems going on in India?
And that's the point. That because till the time you continue to duck, dodge and evade, you have in your own parliament called an outfit a terror outfit, and you've called somebody, and the sargana of that is enjoying state protection. You stand exposed there, sir. How do we take you seriously when you say that you want to talk on terrorism and that you want to end terrorism? How do we take you seriously when you do that? Dawood Ibrahim is an Indian citizen. Why is he enjoying life in Clifton, Karachi over the last 30 years? Why is he doing that? Why have you allowed him there? Why are you tolerating a criminal on your soil? You as a Pakistani civilian, you should be enraged. You as a former man of uniform, you should be enraged that why am I treating somebody, a criminal on my soil, and why am I giving him protection? How come your blood is not boiling, sir?
I would.
Why?
No.
Major General G.D. Bakshi. Please think about my question. I'll come back to you in just a bit. Before we go to Shabana Fayaz, yes, Major General G.D. Bakshi, because when we give you a chance to talk, you don't talk. You don't want to answer the right questions. We want to talk, sir, but you don't want to answer the right questions. You don't want to accept. You live in denial. How do we take you seriously?
You don't want to listen the right questions.
How do we take you seriously? Major General G.D. Bakshi. Now, is this what we have to tell them? That till they start accepting, we will not talk to them, sir. General Bakshi.
This is a state in complete and total denial. This is a state that lies through its teeth. It sheltered Osama bin Laden for 6 long years, 850 meters from the Pakistan Military Academy, Kakul, and lied through its teeth. It ripped the Americans of $31 billion and kept their most dangerous enemy as their state guest of the ISI in an ISI safe house constructed by the ISI. That is the kind of state we are dealing with. But I would like to ask you, Colonel, 29th of November, yesterday, was the day that General Rahil Sharif was supposed to retire, and General Bajwa has assumed charge. This attack on Nagrota by the Jaish-e-Mohammed, what do you ascribe it to? General Rahil Sharif's parting shot or the opening salvo by General Bajwa? Whichever it is, Colonel, you are going to get it back and in your teeth. Let me assure you of that. I think with that surgical strike, you should have understood that it will not be one-way traffic across the line of control. General, don't grin. I'm not cracking a kind of a silly joke for you. I'm not here to crack jokes. And I'm just telling you, you got an idiotic grin on your face. I'm just telling you that you are inviting
That is not the way you should talk.
trouble.
This is what,
We will
exactly
take
what
you
I wanted
up
to tell you. That is not the way to carry out the debate. That is the
come
problem
along,
with you people.
come along. That's not the way you should behave.
I understand.
You first behave properly.
I understand how
like
to
a
reply.
decent state.
I understand how to keep you quiet. But I don't use those
How to
words
reply?
that you
We
are
also
using.
understand
Why?
very
Because
well. And you will
that
start
shows
seeing
what
those replies,
is your
Colonel.
level of intellect. Yeah, that is the problem with you people.
Oh, don't worry about my intellect, Colonel. You worry about your skin.
Yeah, this is, try to understand. This is what I wanted to tell you. Right? When there is a debate going on, when
you
there is
did
a
not
discussion going
respond.
on, you are not
You did not respond to the questions raised about Jaish-e-Mohammed.
And I don't like any personal remarks like that. Because I don't feel like passing any kind
The fact of the matter is that you were grinning from ear to ear in a serious conversation.
The last question that you were probably having
you
some
were
audio
grinning from
problems
ear
and
to
you
ear
want to hear my
in a very
question.
serious
But obviously
and
you
sober
can hear
conversation.
everything that General
But
G.D.
that is
Bakshi
not
is
the way.
saying. You can hear everything that General G.D. Bakshi is saying. So let me repeat my question to you, Colonel Asad Mahmood. Colonel Asad Mahmood, this is not a personal comment against you, but this is a question about the state of Pakistan. Colonel Asad Mahmood.
I say, how come that gentleman says it was basically...
Colonel Asad
Mahmood, let's get back to the subject.
I use the same words for him. It will be bad. He's elder to me. I don't use such
Colonel
words.
Asad Mahmood.
I don't use such words for my elder.
Colonel Asad Mahmood, let's get back to the point. The point is, and the question that I asked you, I almost thought that you were having audio problems, you couldn't hear me, but obviously you can hear everything that General G.D. Bakshi is saying, so please hear my question. My question
I'm
is,
listening to you, ma'am.
Azhar Mahmood is a free man in your country. He sends a warning tape to India right after Pathankot, 13 days after it, and he says there's not a single police case against me.
No, this is the problem that you don't listen. You don't understand the answer which I want to give. This man has been tried by the court and nothing has been proved against him. So if something is not proved against him, don't say
why is the United Nations, why are 13 countries backing India? Why are 13 countries backing India when we demand that Masood Azhar be labeled as an international terrorist? Why is the United States putting out a statement on him? Why is the United Nations looking to declare him as an international terrorist? If everybody, the Interpol has also said that. Isn't that evidence?
The people who are running your country, no, please, this is what I wanted to say. I would suggest the people who are running your country, instead pointing out fingers all the time towards Pakistan, look within yourself. What are you people doing? There are more than 22 separatist movements.
Look at Balochistan.
You see what is happening? No, this is the problem.
Look at Balochistan, Colonel.
Colonel Asad Mahmood, once again. Colonel Asad Mahmood, Major General G.D. Bakshi. Major General G.D. Bakshi, today on this debate, Colonel Asad Mahmood, calm down. Colonel Asad Mahmood, calm down. Colonel Asad Mahmood, when I asked you straightforward questions, Colonel Asad Mahmood, you can shout as much as you want, you can make as much noise as you want. My question is, in your parliament, the Jaish-e-Mohammed was designated a terrorist outfit, what did you do about it? Why is an Indian citizen in Dawood Ibrahim enjoying himself in Pakistan? Why are you tolerating a criminal? Why are you tolerating a criminal? No, please wait. No, Colonel Asad Mahmood, I am asking you straightforward questions. Forget what your obsession with Kashmir is. Forget what you want politically with India as far as Kashmir. What your dialogue is. My question is on terrorism. If you are fighting a war against terrorism, if you believe terrorism is the bane of existence of humanity, why have you tolerated a criminal like Dawood Ibrahim on your soil for the last 30 years? Because you are Pakistan. Why are elements like Dawood Ibrahim allowed on your soil? Please be honest on this. Second question. If you have the Jaish-e-Mohammed deemed a terrorist outfit and somebody that tries to assassinate the former president of your country, why is Masood Azhar a free man on your soil? If your courts cannot bring him to justice, please hand him over to us. We've got enough and more to hang him to death. That's what we can do. Now, please calm down. I'm going to go across to our other panelists.
No, not at all.
We have not had Shabana Fayaz also speak. Before I go across to her, Saurabh Shukla. Saurabh Shukla, you see, this is what?
Yeah.
When you want to have a sane, straightforward discussion and you ask them straight questions which puts them into a corner, then they try all sorts of histrionics to duck, dodge and evade. But my question straightforward, Saurabh Shukla, is which nation will tolerate terrorists on its soil? And if there is a nation that is tolerating terrorists on its soil, and if the civilian government and the people can't do anything about it, then it clearly points to the hand of the establishment. Saurabh Shukla.
Absolutely. They are running a supermarket of terrorism. Why is that every terror attack across the globe has a Pakistan connection? Can any Pakistani panelist deny that? They have turned their country into a virtual supermarket. They are running a whole terrorist campaign against India. Be it a terror attack in the United States, Pakistanis are involved. Their young people today want to shun away the Pakistani passports. They have created this Frankenstein which is, creating terrorism all across the globe. And all these terrorists are state guests there. They are being kept at the expense of Pakistani taxpayers' money. In fact, their people, you should be asking your government and army and ISI if you have the courage to do so. But the problem is, it's duplicity. You come and talk about it, in a different manner in strategic forums, but you don't want to, you don't have the courage and conviction to talk about the real issue of terrorism. Because that is what is policy, that is the basis of which Pakistan is based.
Let's get Shabana Fayaz to answer this question. Shabana Fayaz.
Yes, please.
Let me get in Dr. Shabana Fayaz. Dr. Shabana Fayaz, on March 6, 2004, what did Ashraf Qazi, the former DG of ISI, tell the Pakistan Senate? And this was something that was quoted by G. Parthasarathi, former High Commissioner to Pakistan. He said, we must not be afraid of admitting that the Jaish was involved in the deaths of thousands of innocent Kashmiris, bombing of the Indian Parliament, journalist Daniel Pearl's murder, and attempts on President Musharraf's life. Qazi said when he was participating in a debate in the Senate on Musharraf's address to the joint sitting of Parliament. Shabana Fayaz, do you think Pakistan can still be in denial of the facts that were stated by the former DG of the ISI, who said this to your own Pakistan Senate?
I partly agree with your observations that Jaish-e-Mohammed is a proscribed organization in Pakistan on the charges of the terrorism, and it remains so. If you look at the Ministry of Interior webpage and the concern with the UN organization web pages, it is a proscribed organization. So the idea here is that we should be, I understand the Indian concerns and the atrocities, but what puzzles me is, as an analyst, is that what is stopping India from sharing the evidence with the Pakistan? We had the incidents earlier, we had the...
Well, let me tell you how much evidence has been shared.
So why India is...
let me tell you, Dr. Shabana Fayaz,
without giving in to the talks with Pakistan. So there has to be the joint sharing of evidence.
Let me count for you the recent evidences that have been given.
There has to be a move to realize that
where is the trust going to come from, madam?
On anyone's soil.
Where is the trust going to come from, Dr. Shabana Fayaz? For the Uri attacks, only 1 week after the attacks, the army arrested 2 POK nationals working as guides who were passing information to Jaish-e-Mohammed. That has been the evidence that India has handed over to Pakistan. As far as the Pathankot attacks are concerned, the investigating agencies have got calls that have been traced to Bhavalpur, in Pakistan, and that's been associated with the Jaish-e-Mohammed as well. Among other items recovered from the terrorists, a motivational note handling the Jaish-e-Mohammed was found. There is enough and more evidence. Even in Nagrota, Jaish-e-Mohammed notes and Afzal Guru Army's notes have been found. How much evidence has been passed on? What happens in return? Masood Azhar goes out and actually tells everybody on tape that there's not a single case against me in Pakistan. You're saying Jaish-e-Mohammed is a proscribed organization. He's virtually brandishing to the world that there's nothing against him in the state of Pakistan.
I must correct you here as well, madam. There are a number of cases, and Masood Azhar is on the watch list. And if you look into the independent investigative reports by the media and the Interpol, it suggests that there has been the operations going on with his agenda items and others. This is one thing. And second is that what happened in case of the earlier India-Pakistan joint collaboration is a total failure. We have to accept this fact. Whether we continue to label one another or whether we continue to use one terrorist incident as a move to build up pressure on the other side.
Dr. Fayaz, that's the point that you're also saying the same thing. But my point, Dr. Fayaz.
Anand, can I come in, please?
The point is that, yes, Colonel Singh, coming to you, sir. Colonel Singh, coming to you, sir. I appreciate your patience. Just give me another 30 seconds. Please give me another 30 seconds. The fact is, Dr. Fayaz, if you are so keen on ending terrorism, you know very well that India is not going to come onto the table till the time you act on terrorists and terrorism. Masood Azhar has been designated a terrorist by your own parliament, in your own parliament. Your own government says that we are on the lookout for him. Get him. Why can't you bring him to book? Why is Dawood Ibrahim thriving in Pakistan? What is the need for an Indian citizen and a criminal in India to thrive on your soil?
Anand, I partly agree
thrive on your soil. No, please.
We need to work together.
Why do we need to give you any evidence of Dawood Ibrahim? He's an Indian citizen who fled our country. If you can find him and hand him over.
Why can't that is operating from its soil and through our neighborhood and trying to destabilize
No, Dr. Fayaz, this is something which you will understand. You are saying, okay, Zakiur Rahman Lakhvi is a Pakistani citizen. Hafiz Saeed may be a Pakistani citizen, so you might have interest in trying to guard him and say that he's not been proven, they have not been proven criminals in Pakistan, so they continue to roam free. But why Dawood Ibrahim? Why Masood Azhar? Why Salahuddin? Why do you want these people on your soil? Just give them back to us. Let's start there. Let's start there. Why can't you do that?
Any such elements on our
how
soil.
difficult is it?
This is the
Are you trying to say?
Perception of India.
No.
I don't know how many blood loss do you people or
what are you saying, Dr. Fayaz?
Dr.
Fayaz, his house in Clifton, Karachi, he's like a tourist attraction. Every cab driver in Karachi will pass through the defense area in Clifton, Karachi and say, "Ye dekhiye, is gali ke andar Dawood Ibrahim rehta hai." And you're trying to say he is not there in Pakistan, in Karachi. We called his residence. His wife picked up and said, "Oh, so rahe hain." We called his residence. We have the recordings here. Not just 6 months ago. 6-8 months ago, we called his residence in Clifton, Karachi. His wife said, "वो अभी सो रहे हैं." Okay, we have the numbers. And after that, you said he's not in. The official position is he's not in Pakistan. But why are you harboring him? Please hand him out. If you're so serious about terrorists, why do you want an Indian criminal on your soil? Why do you want him? Why should you want him?
We as a Pakistani,
it starts from there.
Never
it starts from there. You have not cooperated in extraditing and handing him back. So why should we trust you on any other person? Indian citizens who have committed acts of crime and terror on our soil, why can't you hand them back to us first? Colonel RSN Singh, that's where the problem is. Because their bluff and their lies are called there.
Anand, it is not as simple
when they are harboring our people there, it starts from there, Colonel Singh. It starts from there, Colonel Singh, and those are grounds to brand them a terror state. Those are grounds to brand them a terror state because even the civilian government has not shown the intent. Colonel RSN Singh.
Look, Colonel from Pakistan, he made, he opened his remarks by saying we are victims of terror. Now the fact of the matter is that Pakistan has a factory, huge jihadi factory, it is known to the world, who are actually seduced with the idea of pan-Islamic jihad. And then what the military intelligence establishment does is that it expects that they can turn this, pan-Islamic jihad indoctrination to the way they like. Now what has happened is that they have turned some of them, basically the Punjabis against India. They tried to do with the Pathans. Some Pathans refused to take the calling of the Pakistan military intelligence establishment and they have gone against them. नाउ हिंदी में इसको मैं बोलूं कि आपने ये ग्लोबल जिहाद का ठेका नहीं ले रखा है, और जब ठेका लेंगे तो ये दिस रिकॉयल विल बी देयर. सो डोंट से दैट यू आर victims of terrorism. We know why you are victims of terrorism. Now one very significant thing has happened, and I want people in India to understand this. I heard everybody saying, that, General Bajwa, he's from Baloch regiment. For God's sake, Baloch regiment is peopled by, or it constitutes 80 to 90% Punjabis. So therefore, the entire army, whether it is Sindh regiment or Baloch regiment, I know it is 60 to 70% Punjabis. The Punjabis are there in the army. The same Jaish-e-Mohammed and Lashkar-e-Toiba, two of your best regiments, by the way. Colonel, two of your best regiments, they also made up of Punjabis. And Colonel, I also know that. I also know that.
You know nothing. You know
no, your best regiments are Lashkar-e-Toiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed.
You twist facts and you want to deceive your audience.
Colonel Saab.
You can't justify that. You are talking nonsense.
Right?
Okay, tell me, what is the percentage of Balochis in your Baloch regiment?
You people.
You are from Baloch regiment. You tell me.
Logic or truth. And that is the reason you go on to eat crap and talk.
अरे भाई आप बता दो ना हमको. Tell me the fact.
Talking.
What is the percentage of Balochis in Baloch regiment?
Is compound.
Why don't you tell me?
It has got 50% Baloch. You don't know anything. You don't know anything about you and your army.
And who?
You make justifications on wrong grounds. You are absolutely hollow on logic.
You are telling a lie. You are telling a lie.
No.
You are telling a lie.
Stand on. You are short of morality.
You have a majority of Punjabis in your Baloch regiment. Anyway,
what?
Let's get to the main point.
वो तमाम दहशतगर्द आपके अपने मुल्क में बैठे हुए हैं. If you want to see the real face of terrorism,
तो सलाउद्दीन दाऊद इब्राहिम वहाँ क्या कर रहे हैं? लेफ्टिनेंट कर्नल शफकत सईद. सलाउद्दीन दाऊद इब्राहिम वहाँ क्या कर रहे हैं?
What is the percentage? What is the percentage of Sindhis in Sindh regiment? And what is the percentage of Baloch in Baloch regiment? This colonel is telling a lie.
लेफ्टिनेंट कर्नल शफकत सईद, एक छोटा सा सवाल है मेरा. छोटा सा सवाल है लेफ्टिनेंट कर्नल शफकत सईद. मसूद अजहर आपके यहाँ फ्री घूमते हुए क्या कर रहे हैं? जैश-ए मोहम्मद ने कई अटैक्स किए हैं और ये फॉर्मर डीजी ISI ने आपकी सेनेट को बताया है कि उन्होंने जैश-ए मोहम्मद में क्या क्या किया.
Masood Azhar is the colonel of the regiment of Punjab regiment.
ये उनका स्टेटमेंट है, ऑन रिकॉर्ड है. उनका स्टेटमेंट ऑन रिकॉर्ड 2004 मार्च में है. आप देख लें. आप 2004 से आगे क्यों नहीं चलती मैडम? आगे क्यों नहीं सोचती कि अब हम उस इरा में नहीं रह रहे?
मैं तो आज की बात कर रहा हूँ.
नगरोटा पे आइए, डॉक्टर शबाना फयाज, नगरोटा पे आइए. कहानी वहीं की वहीं रुकी हुई है जैश-ए-मोहम्मद पे.
ये मैडम ये फौजी अफसर जो आपके पास बैठे हुए हैं,
आगे नहीं बढ़ा.
मैडम ये फौजी अफसर, मैडम जो ये फौजी अफसर आपके साथ बैठे हुए हैं, दे अबैंडन फाइटिंग लॉन्ग बैक, दे आउटसोर्स्ड इट टू द जिहादीज. ये तो केवल कोट और टाई पहन के यहाँ बैठते हैं. द एक्चुअल फाइटिंग इज डन बाय मेन ऑफ जैश-ए-मोहम्मद, लश्कर-ए-तोयबा. अरे आपने अपनी फौज को ये आपको क्या धोखा दे रहे हैं? आपकी फौज आपको इस बात का एहसास नहीं है.
You have not understood jihad. You know nothing about jihad.
There is no regiment. There is no regiment.
To all my panelists, Colonel RSN Singh, Lieutenant Colonel Shafkat Saeed, please. No. Sir, you find your voice. You find your voice when it comes to the uniform. Let me ask you this. this, and this is a question that has been met with rhetoric, with dodging, and with silence. The straightforward question, Dr. Fayaz, I am talking about the present. No, Colonel RSN Singh, please wait. Colonel RSN Singh, please wait. No, please wait. You may call them whatever names, and I do not want to indulge in name calling tonight, but Major General G.D. Bakshi and Ambassador Parthasarathy, the first question that you asked Ambassador Parthasarathy is what was said by the DGISI in Parliament. The next question that I asked them, and they have still not found a valid answer, is what are Indian citizens and criminals in India like Salahuddin, not Masood Azhar, like Salahuddin and Dawood Ibrahim still doing in Pakistan? Salahuddin was seen recently with Hafiz Saeed. Masood Azhar has been making statements in the media. Dawood Ibrahim still roams all around and with ISI protection and military protection and state protection. Why are these Indian criminals in Pakistan, if Pakistan claims to be a victim of terrorism and is waging a war on terror, Ambassador Parthasarathy, and that's where their bluff is called? That's where, with that simple example, why can't this government turn around and say the world should call Pakistan a state sponsor of terrorism, a state sponsor of criminals, a state sponsor of drug lords and the mafia? It's very easy. They have our people there who are wanted by our law.
Let me tell my friend, मेरी बात तो सुनिए कर्नल साहब. कर्नल साहब आपने बहुत बोल लिया. I've talked only once. And I did not use any language you found objectionable. Let me say one thing very clearly, that people across India have had enough of terrorism. Don't expect any dialogue from us till you fulfill an assurance which General Musharraf gave Mr. Vajpayee on January 4, 2004. The assurance said, and this is in writing in the John Declaration, that territory under Pakistan's control will not be used for terrorism against India. It was only after that assurance from Musharraf that the dialogue was resumed. Now, just a minute.
It is not being used even today.
You may say it is not.
It is not even being used today.
Please ask the...
Who will believe you, Lieutenant Colonel Shafkat Saeed? Who will believe you?
Please ask the French. Please ask the Russians.
Don't believe me.
Please ask the Russians.
Tell you what is on
Nobody
ground.
believes you. Don't forget. One last one. one last thing. Remember, India is not alone in this. Second, you have a new US president called Donald Trump. And 2 days ago, a young man who spent the bulk of his life in Pakistan went on a killing spree in the name of Islam in the United States. Trump is not going to take all these people from Pakistan doing all this. Third point I would like to make is that this is a wide consensus. So India will not be returning to business as usual till Pakistan fulfills the assurance that President Musharraf gave us on January 4th, 2004. You please take that as granted and tell all your friends. The second point we will do, firstly, SARC has been sidelined. SARC has been sidelined. We're moving towards this. You have no place in South
That was your design since 1980.
Not mine.
Lieutenant Colonel Shafkat Saeed.
Just a minute.
Lieutenant Colonel Shafkat Saeed.
Resolution was... Please.
You cannot imagine any way at level with the rest of the countries. You want to stay big brother. You don't know bilateralism. You don't understand equality.
Lieutenant Colonel Shafkat Saeed. Lieutenant Colonel Shafkat Saeed. Have you decided?
General.
Lieutenant Colonel Shafkat Saeed. Lieutenant Colonel Shafkat Saeed, have you decided that all you want to do is shout and not talk? Have you decided that you want to dodge the questions that will hurt you, that the questions will put you in a corner? Then please go ahead and do that. Because you are an intelligent man, you are a defense analyst. Please,
I'm having a cough, but let me tell you.
Ambassador Parthasarathy is trying to say facts and prevail upon the saner minds, the wisdom of the saner minds on the panel from Pakistan. So Lieutenant Colonel Shafkat Saeed, you decide what you want to do. Do you want to hide behind rhetoric? Do you want to hide behind name calling? Or do you want to really turn up and say it's time that Pakistan gets its act together and curbs this menace of terrorism and stops handing guns and bombs and grenades in the hands of 18, 20-year-old impressionable minds, training them and sending them here. Because whoever is doing that is doing you and doing us a great disservice. Major General G.D. Bakshi, Major General G.D. Bakshi, Lieutenant Colonel Sangar Said, and Colonel Asad Mahmood coming to you also. Major General G.D. Bakshi.
कर्नल साहब मैं बड़ी इज्जत से बात कर रहा हूं आपसे. देखिए, आपने गरेबान में झांके. Please look within. Why is it that the people and Afghanistan are sick and tired of your shenanigans? Why is it that the people of Bangladesh refuse to send their home minister to your SAARC conference? Why did Nepal not come? Why did Sri Lanka not come? The whole of this region is sick and tired of your policy of using, terrorists as instruments of state policy. You have alienated not only your entire neighborhood, it's come so bad that if any terrorist incident takes place anywhere in the world, it can straight away be traced back to Pakistan, whether it is a pressure cooker, guy learning who's exploding, putting explosives in pressure cooker and exploding them on the streets of Manhattan, he's traced back to Quetta. Whether it is that Somali boy who's wielding a knife and going on a lone attacker spree, he is traced back to Pakistan. Isn't it time to look within? How have you managed
That's
to
the point, Colonel Asad Mahmood.
not only the SAARC region, but the entire world?
Colonel Asad Mahmood, isn't it time
मैं
to
बड़े प्यार
look
से बात कर रहा
within?
हूँ.
Isn't it time to look within, Colonel Asad Mahmood, because that is something that not only India but the rest of the world is also experiencing. Why is the United Nations talking about Masood Azhar being declared as an international terrorist? Why is Masood Azhar roaming around free in your country?
You people have done so much.
Where is the instability within India?
You are the one. You are the one who
So Sri Lanka has an internal problem, India has an internal problem, but Pakistan has no problem.
Talk about Pakistan.
That is the problem. And let me tell you, you say that you are not going to have any dialogue, whether it is comprehensive or composite, if you people are not interested.
Where is the question of a dialogue?
Dialogue with us.
On a day, 7 of our soldiers have been martyred. Where is the question of a dialogue, Colonel Asad Mahmood? What dialogue do you expect?
Pakistan, listen. In Pakistan, more than
It's a
60,000
terror
people
state.
have been killed because of the terrorism. And that terrorism actually has been backed
Colonel
by India.
Assad,
Colonel
Assad,
don't believe
if you start quoting facts, if you start quoting numbers, it's an endless list on our side. Let me ask you this question again. Can you answer this? Can you answer this question? Can you answer this question, Colonel Assad? Colonel Assad, if you have lost so many people to terrorism in Pakistan,
okay.
If you have lost so many people to terrorism in Pakistan, Colonel Assad, coming to you, Colonel RSN Singh, coming to you, sir. If you have lost so many people to terrorism in Pakistan, why do you need Indian criminals too? Why do you need Indian terrorists too? Why do you need Salahuddin and Dawood Ibrahim? Why do you need Jaish-e-Mohammed and Masood Azhar? Just hand them over to us. We will bring them to justice if your courts can't. We will bring them to justice. Let's work together to curb and end terrorism.
I want to answer you.
Colonel Assad, this browbeating won't work. This browbeating won't work. Colonel Assad, this browbeating won't work. You might want to try and look good on television, you're not. You're actually dehydrated.
और फिर कहे कि
RSN Singh.
Every time a question is asked of you, you refuse to answer it.
You keep snakes in your backyard
Colonel Asad
in the fond hope that they will bite only your neighbors. They will bite you.
Exactly.
They will bite you, my friend. Don't have this narrative of victimhood.
You are the one, India is the one who want to become the regional superpower.
So when you point that one finger at us on the screen, you've got three pointing back at you. My case is rested. I rest my case.
Anand, I will end with one comment.
Yes, Colonel RSN Singh, Saurabh Shukla, and Ambassador Partha Sarthi, coming to you, sir. Colonel RSN Singh, quickly, sir. Yes, sir.
I want to make a point.
Saurabh, allow Colonel Arashan Singh 30 seconds and then I'll come to you, Saurabh. Yes, Colonel Singh.
Anand, on a day when we have lost, Anand, on a day when we have lost our brave soldiers today, this English from the Pakistani delegation, it hurts me. It hurts me. It cannot be the usual English today. And this colonel should know. You lost East Pakistan because you had unleashed terrorists from the Jamaat-e-Islami. Have you forgotten Al-Shams and Al-Badr Brigade? Listen, yaar. You don't know your history.
Yes, no.
You know from where do you conjure these names?
No, we have suffered because...
No, where do you conjure these names? Al-Shams, Al-Badr.
That is the problem.
Colonel Singh.
Colonel Saab, please. Your English hurts me today. You cannot count jihad. You cannot count jihad in your English.
No, their actions, their words are hurting.
Your English is not a sign of any moderation. You cannot count your jihad in the English language.
Colonel Singh. Colonel
Today we have lost men. I can't put up with this English.
Colonel Mahmood. No, Colonel Mahmood, for a man in uniform, there is honor in wearing the uniform. There is integrity about wearing the uniform no matter which country's soldier you are. Colonel Assad, please hear me out. Colonel Assad, please hear me out. Colonel Assad, please hear me out. Please maintain that decorum. Please try and reciprocate the respect that I'm trying to give you on a day where I do not want to, sir, because I'm hurting because my soldiers are being killed. Let me ask you this, sir. If you are such a big victim of terrorism and if your country has had enough of terrorism, work with India to end it. Work with India to end it. Hand over Salahuddin, hand over Masood Azhar, hand over Lakhvi and hand over Dawood Ibrahim. Let's start with the Indians who are sitting on your soil. Hand them back first. We will bring them to justice and we'll tell you how to fight terror. We will tell you how to fight terror. Saurabh Shukla, last word.
Stop saying the victim card, Colonel.
They will never do it because India has to make sure it has to sensitize the world about Pakistan being a terrorist state. We have a U.S. president who can come along with India to fight Pakistan-sponsored terrorism.
Let me tell you something as we wind up this debate. As we wind up this debate, let me tell our panelists and let me tell our guests from Pakistan one thing. This should be enough for the government of India to make their case and rest their case. Dawood Ibrahim is in Pakistan. Salahuddin is in Pakistan. Indian criminals are in Pakistan and they are enjoying state protection. Masood Azhar and Jaish-e-Mohammed, designated terrorist outfit by the Pakistan government, in the Pakistan parliament, in the Senate, by a former DG ISI, they continue to prosper in Pakistan. These are cases enough to tell the world that Pakistan should be deemed a terror state if they don't give them up, because they are not serious about ending terrorism. Until then, we should not talk to them, we should not look at them, and we should tell them, you are going to be isolated, you remain where you are till you hand back these criminals and we bring them to justice. Because if you want to fight terrorism, let's do it together. If you don't want to, let's not talk.
And make a beginning with Masood Azhar, with the Jaish-e-Mohammed and the Lashkar-e-Toiba. That will give the world the message that Pakistan is even seriously contemplating handling terror on their soil.
To all our panelists, thank you very much for joining us on this debate.
You expect...
The News Hour at 10 will be right back after the break.